Hello, everybody, and today I wanted to talk about what all is going on with this weekend's big threat. So, to point out, here is Saturday's enhanced threat over portions of North Dakota, the majority of South Dakota, and then entering that Nebraska area. So, outlining it here in black, we are seeing that this area has been very active over the last few weeks. The High Plains season has been a very active season overall. So, we'll keep this in mind and what all is going on. But it looks like storm motion is generally going to be somewhat either this way, or we could see some convergence happening in here. So, overall, we could see individual cells influenced from different directions. So looking at all this, we'll keep this in mind, and we will look and see what to expect here on Saturday. So our tornado threat, not huge as of right now as of recording this on Friday night. We do have that 5% chance, so there is a possibility we could get an upgrade in that. But the majority of these storms are going to be with hail. So we do see a bigger region out to the west, outlined here in black, that is going to have storm development with tons of hail. So we'll keep in mind that all of this has a chance for hail, but our target areas really specifically are going to be right along the Dakotas border, down in Nebraska, and then up here in this red is where our, I would say, highest chance is of a big hail environment, just because we have the combination of the significant and the 30%. Wind-wise, not too much surprising here, because the same area will be experiencing wind. Now, since Sunday is our day 3, we're looking outwards. We do not see a specific tornado, hail, wind category yet, but we do see that it is already covering the pretty similar areas. We are seeing pretty much this entire region is covered. I guess it was a little bit bigger than that. It was down in Nebraska. This is today. This is tomorrow's on Saturday. Then Sunday's is a little further northeast. So looking at the probabilistic here, there is a significant chance that on Sunday we could see stuff occurring in here. So our highest chance, of course, is going to be in North Dakota, but we could see storm development traveling in really looks like this direction on Sunday. So looking overall, we'll go back up to our Saturday and check out what they're talking about is the probabilities and stuff. But looking through here, obviously it's going to be dangerous thunderstorms, and just kind of scanning down through here, looks like there's going to be a deep mid-level low associated with this, so we're going to see some additional energy be kind of filed in. And it's going to be a relatively cool, dry, low-level air. It's going to be more of a cooler system that's going to allow for some stuff to set up. And this is all affected because of the potential hurricane, but tropical storm as of right now, that is down in the Gulf Coast, and that's actually pushing some of the stuff further up to the north. So for the plains, what we could see is some mixed layer cape in the order of 2000s, which is definitely enough for severe storms. But if we look here for hail, we could just see that down through here, it is not mentioned yet. So as we go through, we're not expecting hail to be mentioned on today's at least, but tomorrow is definitely going to be on there, because looking for what's going on with this, we could see 50 to 70 knot, which is roughly 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts associated with this. There's going to be activity by discrete supercell development near the front, and that will include, there is hail in here, increasing potential for damaging winds in addition to large hail. There will be a severe weather potential that may continue into the middle Missouri Valley Saturday evening before diminishing into stable air across North Dakota and northeastern South Dakota. So, as of right now, the current discussions are not super focused on a big tornado threat, definitely hail and wind. So it's going to be a lot of fronts. So we could easily see this big time squall line development form. So as we look to Sunday, what they're kind of loosely talking about right now is kind of the same thing going on. There's going to be some brief ridging that will occur before height falls and commence by late afternoon as a strong upper jet moves through the Great Basin, and there'll be a low pressure that will develop, and that is going to allow for a dry line to actually form, extending south from the low. Strong instability will develop with mid 60 degrees dew points and steep lapse rates profiles. Capping will likely erode around 21Z, so roughly 4 p.m. Central Time. Initiation likely in the hot, deep, mixed air near the low. They're saying although some storms will be high base, initially wind profiles will be strongly favor supercells with very large hail damaging winds and a few tornadoes as effective there. So capping will increase until the middle of the afternoon. So potentially if we see a front that forms like this down through here, we're going to see damaging winds pretty much through here. We're going to see all this hail back in here. And then our tornado threat will be embedded right along the backside of that line. So overall, it's right now, since it is day 3, we cannot guarantee anything. But looking at this, we can definitely assume right now this enhanced area is going to be seeing some activity. So let's go ahead and pop over to our models. We're going to check out what the NAM is saying for temperature-wise, just to give us a good idea of what to expect. So since this is really common with 21Z, we will go to 21Z on both days. So Saturday at 21Z, we do see down in here that there is those upper 90s, even potentially 100 in a few areas, 99, 98. We could see some areas right there with a pocket of 100 degrees. So definitely daytime heating occurring in here. So that's Saturday, but looking at Sunday, what are we seeing around that same time? So once again, very warm temperatures allowing to form, and then you kind of see this dry line forming right through here. It's kind of that ridge. You can really see that ridge. But that is going to allow that low, probably that low is going to be somewhere in here. So it'll be somewhere around here because that'll be most of the wind, and the heat is going to be kind of packed around the outside of it right there. So temperatures definitely indicative of storm environments, so definitely stuff to watch out for. So that is going to be something we're going to have to see is with temperatures, how is that affecting these storms? So we will go to Saturday at 21Z and go ahead and see what all we're talking about with composite reflectivity. So actually on Saturday, we'll pop back into the morning hours to give you the full look at this. So as we go through the day, just kind of some scattered thunderstorms on this model. We do see some development out here, and we'll see if any of these look severe. So not crazy severe. Supercell potential is definitely there, but not looking crazy. We're not seeing any loose matches or anything, so not expecting anything huge to form on that southeastern side. But that when we start seeing these individual cells popping up on Saturday, that's when we start seeing this marginal severe. And that's when we can start expecting some other cells to form in probably through here somewhere. And that once again, that enhanced threat for Saturday was right in here. So as we keep going, we do see multiple kind of systems develop as we go through. We see this front system that will develop. We see a back system. And we even see a third one that is forming, and they're all lining up. So traveling and watching these is going to be something. We're going to see a few of them go severe, and we'll see that squall lines start to form with those back two, but then the front two, or the back two, or the front two, and then the back one will start to go north. So the general direction of storms will be in this direction, but we will see some storms traveling to the north. So that's why we are seeing some of these. We'll see these ones be squall lines, this one be discrete supercells with some higher threats. So we'll click and see and check out what's going on here. See, not huge. They will be supercells, but we're not expecting huge tornado threats as of these individual supercells. The potential is there for some rotation, definitely supercells. So there's no doubt that these systems will have some type of rotation with them. It's just talking about could they produce tornadoes. So that's why we were saying damaging winds and hail are big threats, is because we're seeing supercells ahead of time. So I do want to compare we'll go back to this time and when storm development is the biggest. I do want to flip through some models and check out what they're talking about and looking at. So the bigger models are showing potentially some hook development on the backside of this storm right in there, as you can see. But some bigger storm development, bigger complexes with this model. Looking at the next model down, most models are agreeing with a squall line forming in a bigger cell development. And we'll check out the NSSL. So most storm models are favoring some type of squall line at least through here. Some of them will drop clear south into Nebraska, potentially into Kansas and Colorado, but some are favoring it here, and even some are favoring them clear up back in here where they're forming. So we could expect some squall lines to go through, and we'll go ahead and stick with the NSSL. So we'll stick with the NSSL, this one, and then the NAM 3-kilometer CONUS, just because I'm really liking what it's talking about storm-wise. So looking at supercell composite, this should not surprise you. Stuff will be forming out in front of it. But where we start to see the big threat is potential for the tornadoes. And according to the NSSL model currently, we are saying that South Dakota, right in the core of it, is going to have potentially the most heat to pack with this. And if we go ahead and look back here, we can see that stuff forming right in this area. We'll go ahead and show you again what that was in the reflectivity. Right in these cells, there's enough energy there suggesting currently for these big time storms to develop with huge tornado threats. This supercell could have one, and then there's enough energy. Now note, this is all energy. Not saying that there's going to be a tornado in here, but definitely there is a flow of energy heading back into the storms, which are located right in here, especially on the squall lines, that is injecting this potential for tornadoes through here. And we can see, looking at all of these, but like the updraft helicity and stuff, we do see that the storm motion from this model is definitely looking in this direction. So considering we are getting some directional guidance from that tornado energy going back into it, that's where we start to see some of that rotation occurring. So we're going to see energy overall traveling back into a system that is traveling in this direction. When you get that, obviously you're going to get some broad rotation in these storms. So no doubt they are all agreeing somewhere in here there will be a rotating portion of the squall line. So I'm going to go ahead and hop back over to our NAM CONUS to show you that roughly the same time, and they're saying it's going to be a little further south. They're suggesting a further south environment, but looking less severe tornado-wise. So I will check out this unstable cape here, because looking at this, it is entering that broad environment of the severe cape. But what it's actually going to be using is in here. So we do see the upper 4000s, so no doubt going to be severe. When you look at different models and different modes on models, they will suggest tornado. Most likely, though, damaging winds will be with this. This suggests this exact location is averaging about 67% chance of tornado potential and then 96% chance of significant hail. So looking through here, definitely overall going to be a potential for severe storms. And so from the NAM model, we are suggesting in this circle we could see some stuff, and that will allow for some bigger cells to kind of form, and we'll see what's going on there. But I do want to see on that same thing on the NSSL, so lining it up, we do see very similar edges out in front. So overall, when we see the cape, it's all feeding through right here. And so that is going to be our big factor, is what is playing in with this area in here. So overall, it is looking pretty good. I am liking how it's looking because it's not tornadic, but it is looking like it's going to be a very interesting day overall. So just confirming again, looking at a few other runs for Saturday, we do see that out in front we will see some bigger potential for some tornadoes, but looking in here, we see some bigger cells that will potentially form, and we could see a particularly dangerous situation, tornado. We could see some high up stuff, and this is suggesting that there is a 100% chance of tornadoes and 95% chance of significant hail. That is a suggestion though. Not saying that this area in here is going to have a tornado, but it definitely will have the energy based on this model. and then considering the other model at that same time, we'll keep that same place marked. Note how there is nothing there. This favors some development further down the line. So we are averaging the two, and we will see it in this area, and then we could see that squall line form down through there. Somewhere in this area, we are going to have the potential for the bigger storm. So the north side of the squall line will have that rotation in it. So I will go ahead and look on Saturday as we get into it. And this is where we kind of have to leave 2-1 model because of the hours. We're going to have to look at our NAM3 CONUS because what's affecting us up here is going to change. So tornado-wise, not looking too huge right now. They're saying a few tornadoes could form, and this energy is way out in front. So it is showing way further east than expected on that potential tornado outlook. So it is something that's interesting. We see the different models obviously suggest different locations, but as we get into the later hours of the day, definitely favoring that, because looking down through here, it was looking like this with that enhanced model. Overall direction, as said, is like that. So definitely all of this stuff will be affecting clear up through here, but this is favoring much further east than other models are. So we'll check out and see what this environment is looking like, because it'll give us a general idea. So low on tornadoes, but high on hail. Potential for some bigger supercells is in there. But looking really up through here where areas could be a little bit more, they are saying that there is 100% chance of tornadoes, 91% chance of hail, and particularly dangerous situation. We do see that kidney bean shape, and I know that people don't really like looking at this too much, but seeing that, looks like there's probably a pretty good chance. So definitely be on the lookout for that, but it's going to be a local news and on the day of development, because when we disagree on different models and where it's at, a storm that says there's going to be a tornado here on one model could end up being clear out here. Not saying as the scenario here, but probably overall something in here is going to be formed, and it's going to have the energy ahead of time coming out of right down here. So we will see stuff out of South Dakota, and stuff out of South Dakota we're going to have to check and see, because it'll be strengthening traveling into North Dakota. So I will not show you the supercell composite, because obviously there's going to be some supercells in there. But Cape-wise, once again, we are traveling in the Cape of 5,200s. So maxing out different portions of these photographs. So overall, it's going to be a dangerous day. So we'll take you back here to your outlook and show you generally what to look out for each day. We'll mark it in the colors here. So here on Saturday, this is Saturdays, we'll write Saturday. Most likely we're seeing cells that will develop somewhere in here. I would take pretty much south of this highway down to the corner there. I would watch if you live anywhere in here specifically. Looks to be the most severe for damaging winds and potential hazards for tornadoes, and then other hail threats. So looking at that, we could see that. Now I will draw another box that is down here, and we'll just kind of draw some different lines through here. Definitely looking like there's going to be some storm development south of this main highway going through there into South Dakota, touching Nebraska. But storm development is also not out of the question in Nebraska. We could see some stuff in there. So Saturday, I'd watch out down here, and we'll make this a little bit neater. If you live anywhere in this box, I'd be watching out for storm development. Then on Sunday, if we go ahead and look ahead, we seem to be favoring more storms that are evenly split somewhere up the middle here, over to the state line and down. So that's what they're favoring. I specifically am thinking that it's going to be probably tapered a little bit more. So personally, anywhere in here, I'll just draw these lines. Anywhere in here is where I'm going to say the biggest severe threat is, based on our current outlook and research for that. Forgot that doesn't move. So anywhere in here, I'd be watching out. So overall, both days severe, and we're looking at the Dakotas. So keep that in mind, be weather ready, and be watching your news, because with these outlooks that are looking 2 and 3 days out, not 100% accurate, because we have to look at one model. We can't compare 3 and 4. So overall, I'd be watching out for that. I'd be looking at your local news stations and definitely be watching the radar, because common trends are stuff forming in south of you are going to be severe by the time they get to you. So on Saturday, stuff forming in Nebraska is going to be severe for South Dakota. Then on Sunday, stuff that is going to be severe in North Dakota is going to produce in South Dakota. So I'd keep that in mind. Thank you again for watching this, and we do like doing these, so please give it a like if you did like it, and make sure you check out our forecasts and other briefings like these, and then we try to do them on days that there is an enhanced threat that is scheduled for the, or not scheduled, but forecasted for the day before. So thank you very much again, and we always remind you to be weather ready.